The Mysterious Letters. Characters: Jayant Goswami, a businessman. Ramesh, the businessman's cousin. The businessman's personal assistant, PA. Roshni, the businessman's wife. Man in a white suit. Gopi, the businessman's driver.
Has Mrs. Goswami returned? No, sir. Something strange has happened. The car has returned without madam, but the driver says that he thought she was in it. What do you mean? I hardly understand myself, sir. Perhaps you would like to see Gopi, the driver. Send him up. I told her to be in by 4, to be ready to welcome the chairman of the business association for dinner.
If you please, sir, we waited for madam outside the shop, House of Silk. She came out of the shop, got into the car, and I shut the door. She said, Gopi home. But when we got home, she wasn't there. We never stopped anywhere, and we never noticed anything on the way. But when we got home, the car was empty.
How is that possible? Did you by chance make a silly mistake? You never picked up Roshni, and you're trying to palm this tale off on me to save yourself.
Sir, I will take an oath that madam did get into the car.
To Jayant Goswami, private and urgent. Jayant Goswami, bring 5 lakh rupees to the City Arcade within an hour of the receipt of this. Your wife Roshni Goswami has been kidnapped. An impersonator got into the car outside House of Silk and secretly alighted on the road. Unless you do as you are requested, Mrs. Goswami will not return home to receive the chairman to dinner. A locket worn by her is enclosed within as proof of our intentions. At City Arcade, you will be met by an individual in a white suit with a gardenia in his buttonhole. If you give the individual in question the ransom, Mrs. Goswami will be home in time to receive the chairman. Will you swear that it was Roshni who got into the car?
I could have sworn that it was her at the time, sir.
Who brought this?
A lady. She came in a car, gave me that letter and said, give that to Mr. Goswami at once, and drove away.
Mrs. Goswami appears anxious to write to you. Her communication is enclosed within. My dear Jayant, please do what these people require. I do not know what has happened or where I am, but I fear for my life. They have already taken away my locket, and they tell me that if you don't let them have the ransom, they will not let me go.
What do we do now?
I will first release Roshni. Afterwards, I will teach a lesson to these criminals using all the resources I have at my disposal. Hello, cousin. That's a large bag. When robbing the bank, when I saw Roshni a while back, I wondered if there was some problem. You saw Roshni? When? Nearly an hour ago. She was going like blazes in a taxi down Main Street. Was she alone? I think I saw a man with her. Ramesh, she's been kidnapped. Some villain has decoyed her away. He tells me that if I don't let him have 5 lakh rupees, he will not release her. What? This can't be true. Did you try calling her mobile? I've tried calling her. She's left her mobile at home as usual. I'm going to take the money to the villain, and once I have her back, he shall pay for his crimes. Please come with me. Who is the gentleman you expect to meet there? The fellow is to wear a white suit and a gardenia in his buttonhole. I see nothing of your suited friend. I think that you've been the victim of a hoax.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting.
Where's my wife?
Mrs. Goswami will be home almost as soon as you are. When you have given me the money which I perceive you have ready for me in that bag.
And suppose instead of giving you this bag, we hand you over to the first policeman we encounter.
Mr. Ramesh Goswami, I perceive I have the honor of knowing Mr. Goswami, though possibly I am unknown to him. You are at perfect liberty to give me into custody. Only if a certain communication is not received from me in certain quarters within a certain period of time, Mrs. Goswami might never return home.
Criminal! If you take my advice, Jayant, you will summon the police and hand this gentleman over. I do not think that you need fear that Roshni will not be returned. Such criminals as these cowards who are usually more amenable to reason when they have handcuffs on their wrists.
My dear sir, by all means act on your cousin's suggestion. It would be interesting to see if Mrs. Goswami returns or not.
I will never let Roshni come to harm. But once she returns,
Once she returns, of course, then you will be at liberty to inform all the authorities you wish to involve. I assure you, I fully expect you to do so.
Jayant angrily hands over the bag and the stranger leaves.
Ramesh, if that criminal doesn't keep his word and Roshni isn't home within the hour, I shall go mad. My dear cousin, instead of going mad, shall we go home? I don't know if you're aware that the chairman of the association is coming to dinner. Yes, I am aware of your dinner plans. I sympathize.
When the car reaches Jayant's mansion, he dashes up the steps 3 at a time. The door flies open. Jayant! Jayant!
Roshni!
So you're not quite dead?
I am, almost.
Jayant, were you seriously hurt? I was so worried and scared. Was it a furniture van?
A furniture van? I don't understand. Are you alright?
Yes, I am.
So you are uninjured, though I see you're missing your locket, of course.
What locket?
It is the locket which that villain sent to me. How did the brute snatch it from you?
This is not my locket, though it's very similar to one I own. Jayant, where did you get this? Tell me, Ramesh, was it a furniture van?
Was what a furniture van? Roshni, something doesn't add up. I'm confused.
Jayant, how is it that I couldn't meet you? Why did you not wait until I came? Surely if your injuries were not serious, you should have waited after sending for me like that.
I sent for you?
Roshni holds out something to Jayant. It is a letter on a sheet of paper from his personal stationery.
Roshni, come to me at once with the bearer. They tell me that they cannot take me home in this condition. It looks like my own writing. Roshni, where did you get this?
It was brought to me in House of Silk.
Who brought it?
Why, the man you sent.
It must have been the same criminal to set such a trap. My poor darling, did you think it came from me? Where did he take you to?
He took me to Draper's building, the one near the stock exchange. He told me that when you were coming out of the stock exchange, a furniture van knocked you over.
Roshni, were you in Draper's building when you wrote your letter?
What letter? What? What's this? This didn't come from me.
Might I ask, Roshni, if you had been kidnapped?
No, absolutely not. And your accident?
On that point, my dear, let me ease your mind. So far as I am concerned, there has been no accident.
No accident? Oh, I looked for you everywhere when I arrived at Draper's building. It was a large place. It took me ever such a time. Nobody seemed to know anything about you, or even that there had been an accident at all. So when I couldn't find you anywhere, I came straight home again.
Ramesh, what are you laughing at? My dear fellow, only a smile. Roshni, you have already seen your letter. Just look at this and that.
Jayant, who are these people? Did you give them the money?
Yes, and I would give another 5 lakhs to know who they are. Though it is beginning to dawn upon me that I have been the victim of an elaborate practical joke rather than a serious crime. I don't want Ramesh to suggest anything in the way of bribery, but if you could keep this matter to yourself and not mention it to your friends, then our white-suited acquaintance is welcome to his money. No, dear cousin, you will get your money back.